two hackers set out to infiltrate the largest hacking conference in the world, armed with a urinal cake.
Does anyone know how hard it actually is to find a urinal cake in Las Vegas?
I'm Alex. Let's explore the 24-hour urinal cake forgery. We're going to talk about the plot, the plan, the problem, the process, and the ultimate payoff. How searching a few strip clubs and a whole lot of outside-the-box thinking in no-tech hacking built a plan to infiltrate Defcon. Defcon is the largest hacking conference in the world. Your ticket into the conference is a sophisticated piece of tech called a badge, developed by some of the best hardware hackers and puzzle makers on the planet. Unless you work at the con or have won a lifetime entry black badge, you're paying full price. Now, badge forging has a long history at the conference, going back 29 years, evolving from a small activity into full fabrication. Hackers ship and purchase tens of thousands of dollars worth of CNC machines, 3D printers, signal generators, oscilloscopes, and more to duplicate the badge. In recent years, the forgeries have costed more than the badge itself, and it's unknown if anyone's actually been banned for a forgery. Though be it a sense of pride, the adrenaline rush of walking past security, or the excitement to fool nearly 30,000 hackers, groups spend 48 hours in a mad rush to reverse engineer, fabricate, and fool Defcon. So how did these two do it with a urinal cake? Gowrie and Gulo landed in Vegas, and I had just collected my badge, and they were frantic to see it. Now, I'm not a hardware hacker, though Gulo is a 7-foot-tall hardware hacking guru, and he frantically reviewed the badge. He started looking up components on his phone, plotting out his fabrication approach. And the hardware on the badge was beyond sophisticated. At DC27, Joe Grand, the designer, introduced a badge jam-packed with technology. The badge could communicate with other badges with near-field magnetic induction transceivers. Attendants could walk up to each other and pair their badges to score points. And if you paired with every single type of badge, contest, speaker, black badge, new functionality was unlocked. Badge pairing became a hacker handshake, an introduction when meeting someone new. Forging the components alone would be difficult, but not impossible, until Gulo flipped over the badge and saw the one element they didn't plan for. The badge had a specialty handcrafted quartz backing, a 1/4-inch thick puck, and it couldn't be duplicated without expensive stone carving or polishing tools. Dejected Gulo went off to the restroom, and he found his answer: a urinal cake. Gulo and Gowrie set off on their own, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 9 p.m. into the Vegas Strip to find a urinal cake. But 3 hours went by, and they were still empty-handed. I remember Gowrie yelling, "Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a urinal cake in Vegas?" They were met with failure at drugstores, cleaning supply stores. Gowrie even broadcasted out to the darknet community, which is like a rich hacking community in the largest hacking contest at DEF CON, and even they failed. Gulo finally just exploded, annoyed. "Fine, if we can't buy a new one, we'll settle for a less than new one." They put on their nitrile soldering gloves and sent back out into the night.
"We were banned from several strip clubs, bars, dive bars, casinos, CVS's, Walgreens, and Albertsons because no one appeared to like nitrile gloves and saran wrap."
Yeah, this is completely normal and not weird at all in Vegas. At 2:47, exhaustion and desperation started to set in as the night went on, and they started dredging the depths of Vegas urinals, looking for that precious jewel. Restaurants, strip clubs. "We just need to use the bathroom. We're looking for a urinal cake." They said stone cold sober. I can't even imagine what was going through the bouncer's mind.
Really pissing off a few strip club bouncers.
At 3 a.m., almost 6 hours later, they found their prize. Where from, though? They refuse to share to this day.
It was fished out of a strip club.
Though as they got it out of the black lighted Vegas Strip and into the normal lighting, joy turned to ash. Because when they saw the color, it was pink. Bright pink. The wrong color. Not even close to the marbled quartz of the badge. And the shape was off. It was lopsided. It was too thick. I mean, used urinal cakes aren't really known to be exactly uniform. Yet with the materials in hand, they were determined to solve the problem. At Defcon 27, I was helping run Darknet and working with an awesome group of hackers to help distribute our Darknet badges. It was the second day, and we were exhausted and tired, though something odd started happening to our tight-knit group. We started getting headaches and weirdly pissed off. And it was at that time Samosa and I connected eyes, and it started dawning on us what was wrong. What is that smell?
And what the hell is that smell?
For the uninitiated who have never been to a men's truck stop bathroom, these things have a very distinct and pungent smell. Now, this is a bath bomb of my daughter's, and this smells pretty strong, but urinal cakes are meant to cover up some pretty bad smells, so they're mind-numbing. Worsen though, Gowrie started shaving it down and shaping it with a Dremel. And he had to fix the color. He combined white soap shavings and heat created with friction by polishing the top of the urinal cake on the carpet behind the booth. It smelled like a hobo made out with Mr. Clean in a desert Vegas porta potty for like 24 hours. It was bad. Also, fun story, they're poisonous. We found this out later in a Gizmodo story posted online after the conference. It would explain why some of us started getting nosebleeds. But when the deed was done, those two geniuses had polished their precious payload to a handcrafted quartz shine. Now they had their critical piece, and their payload creation could begin. But they were running out of time. It was at this point, it was 4 p.m. on Saturday, where the restrictions of stopping non-badge wearers would be lifted in about 2 hours. After the methodical polishing process, the cake looked remarkable, near perfection. Gowrie scavenged parts from the Darknet badge, though he was still missing critical components, like the distinct microcontroller, the NFMI transmitters. After a quick visit to the hardware hacking village and favors exchanged with Leet Bunny, Gowrie scored genuine Defcon badge replacement parts. Back at the Darknet table, Gowrie glued them to the bottom of a coffee cup to simulate the circuit board of a real badge. The result was stunning. So incredible that I still remember him falling over with uncontrollable laughter like a mad genius after his creation came to life. The cost to forge a $300 human badge was less than $5. And pissing off the people that love them. The smell really was mind-numbing. To truly test a forgery, they wanted to go big. Not just bypassing hundreds of security staff, but fooling Joe Grand, the designer himself, and the Dark Tangent, the founder of Defcon. The deed was done. A simple walk through the conference floor was like parting the Red Sea. Though something they did not expect held them back. It wasn't a security staff goon, but instead tens, and then hundreds of Defcon hackers stopped to pair with them. It was the unique coloring of the urinal cake badge gave it a nuance and uniqueness, which attendees had assumed was an elusive hidden badge. They paired with hundreds of badges and thousands of noses. Eventually though, their first target came into sight. Joe Grand surprisingly had already heard the rumors, though nothing had prepared him for the overwhelming sensation that he would feel being close to such majesty. With 10 minutes to spare, they found their target, the Dark Tangent. You want to pair badges with us? Yeah. He held up his badge, they held up theirs. Nothing. They moved a little closer. My badge must not be working. And then the smell hit him, and he knew. As they were called up on stage, they walked past both a group that had paid over $1,200 in custom fabrication and another that actually went to a stonemason. And amongst laughter and cheering, Gulo and Gowrie were announced the winners.
So I'm here today to announce the counterfeit badge contest. Gowrie and Gulo coming in first place You may have heard about this mythical badge. It's pungent. You smell it before you see it. It was fished out of a strip club. I'll let them take it away, but coming in first place at 24 out of 30 points with their counterfeit urinal cake badge.
Yeah. We can smell it from here.
Two hackers that put their heads together and built a visually near perfect duplicate using their minds, noses, and techniques available to all of us. Assuming you're willing to plunder the Las Vegas urinals.
Everyone should ask Grifter how it tastes later.
It was delicious. I'm not gonna lie. I knew what it was. I still wanted to taste it.
Please thumbs up and comment if you like this story and want to hear more. Check out the Kink Gone Ronning video. Thanks for watching, and I will smell you later.